The Dallas Stars have finally done it, folks. They have notched their first regulation win of the regular season. On today's episode, we'll go into a full breakdown of Saturday night's game against the Philadelphia Flyers, hear from some of the players and Coach Bowness in their post-game pressers talking about everything that happened in Saturday's game. All of this coming up on a Monday edition of Locked On Stars.
Your Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans. Welcome back to the Locked On Stars podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Dane Lewis, and you are Locked On the Dallas Stars. And like I said at the top of the show, the Stars have done it, folks. They have done what has seemingly, been impossible and what has been eluding them so far this season, and that is to notch a regulation win. And they did it in pretty dominating fashion, 5-2 over the Philadelphia Flyers. You can call it 4-2 if you want. The last goal coming via Radek Faksa on an empty netter, but nice nonetheless to see Dallas win a game that they pretty much dominated and had the lead for. Once they took their 1-0 lead, they never surrendered the lead, and so it feels really good as someone who's been watching every single game this season and seeing some pretty bad hockey through the first several games. But now maybe we're starting to see this team turn a new corner, turn a new leaf. That's the term, right? Maybe not. But nonetheless, very exciting to see Dallas in the win column in regulation, getting two crucial points against the Flyers on Saturday night. And today's episode, we're going to break down that game entirely. We'll listen to some audio from the post-game press conferences that featured Coach Rick Bowness, Anton Khudobin, Joe Pavelski, and Roope Hintz. But before we do all that, I want to take a moment and say thank you for listening to today's episode of Locked On Stars. Whether this is your first time here or you are a recurring listener, thank you for stopping by. It truly means a lot to me. Be sure to follow and subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcast at, whether that's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or on YouTube as well. You can subscribe on YouTube. It is absolutely free to subscribe and follow the show anywhere you want. Be sure to leave a review if you like what you hear. It truly does help me out a ton. That means a lot. Let's jump right into the takeaways from this game. I think the biggest takeaway that you kind of have to look at if you were at the game or watched the game on TV was Dallas's offense and the way that they crashed the net. I think that is truly what gave them the key to this victory and what gave them many of their scoring opportunities and eventually, gave them the goals that they did score. And so let's go ahead and take a listen to what Coach Bowness had to say about the offense crashing the net.
Well, look at Roope. He's had more breakaways and more goal posts and more crossbars than anybody. And the last two goals, he's tapped them in on the crease. So it shows you got to get those greasy goals, but you got to get in there. We've been in there before and didn't score. I remember at least three that we had guys in the crease with wide open nets, and they still pushed it wide. So, hey, listen, the puck went in tonight.
Yeah, I think like Coach said, you've had guys like Roope who have, found a lot of misfortune when it comes to, being productive on offense, whether that's hitting the crossbar, shooting the puck wide. This team has struggled to come through more often than not on the offensive end. And tonight we saw the puck go in more often than not. It feels like on a lot of Dallas's scoring opportunities. So that was super, super nice to see. I think Coach Bowness has to be happy with what he saw as far as production from his offense, just the way that they attacked the net. They weren't just chunking the puck into the offensive zone and trying to chase it or play catch up with it, which is something I feel like that they've been doing throughout this season. And it's been kind of frustrating to watch, as I know many of you relate to that as well. But it felt like a nice change of pace. It felt like even when the Stars weren't scoring, there were a lot of opportunities that they, were really close. And maybe, if they were to repeat that entire sequence again, you see the puck go in the net some different times. So a nice step forward, though the offense is not perfected yet by any means, a nice step forward from where the Stars have been previously, especially over the past few weeks. And Roope Hintz, Coach Bowness talked about him, being one of the more unlucky guys on the roster. He continues to stay hot, if that's even what you want to call it. He's now on a 2-game goal-scoring streak. He found the net once again, probably the biggest goal of the night, I would say. It gave Dallas a 2-0 lead in the second period. His second goal of the season. Like I said, after Wednesday's game against Nashville, I think it was huge for him to get that goal that he got against the Predators, because now he's able to build off of that and use that momentum to propel him forward. And he did that. He played very, very well on Saturday against the Flyers. Obviously scored a goal, gave Dallas a 2-0 advantage, which was huge to, not only pad the lead, but, Dallas just hasn't had very many leads. And when they haven't been big leads. And so it was really, really nice to see him come through, in that moment. Absolutely huge. And Roope, like I said, had a really good night. Also assisted on Joe Pavelski's power play goal in the third period that put Dallas up 4-1. And let's take a listen to what Roope had to say in his post game at press conference about that goal.
I just kind of tried to get it there because all of their guys was coming to me. So I think if I just laid there, there's at least one of our guys. So and Pal came and it was right on his tape.
Yeah, Roope pretty quick with his answer there, but I think, what he said is really important is that he basically was, he didn't really know. The question that was asked before he gave that response was, did he know in that moment on the fast break on the power play? Did Roope know that Joe Pavelski was going to be there to kind of pick up the flick of the puck that Roope, threw backwards after he had shot, got his own rebound? And he really said, no, he didn't know Joe Pavelski was going to be there, but he was trusting that in that moment, since, his opportunity at a shot was kind of taken away from him by the goalie, that he just kind of threw the puck back and put it in a position where he was hoping a teammate would be trailing. And he put it in the perfect spot for Pavelski to put the puck in the net. And again, it ended up, paying dividends for the Stars, putting them up by 3 goals in the third period on the power play. So again, the power play continues to stay hot, which has been the case for several games now. But I think that's going to be a huge point of emphasis for the Stars team going forward. Is just trusting one another, trusting everyone on the team to make the right plays. Roope didn't know that Pavelski or anyone was going to be there when he flicked that puck backwards. But I think that was the smart play after his shot was blocked. The goalie is obviously very, very focused on Roope and watching everything he does. So the probability of Roope getting another shot by him is pretty slim, as talented as Roope is, just with the goalie having his full attention there. But Roope notices that. I added an extra syllable to notice. That's nice. That's amazing. But he flicks the puck back. Pavelski's there. Pavelski, veteran that he is in the position to, put the puck in the back of the net, helps his team out a ton. So that's going to be a huge point of emphasis for the Dallas Stars going forward, as should just be crashing the net in general, because as we saw from Saturday night's game, good things happen when you crash the net and don't just chase the puck into the offensive zone. Coming up next, we'll talk a little bit about some of the things that the Dallas Stars can continue to improve, because as I said, as fun as this game was to watch on Saturday, it was far from perfect, and this team has, still not reached the top of their game, I don't think, even though I feel like they played a full 60 minutes, probably the best game that we've seen overall from them this season. Still a lot of work to do. Still some things that need to be improved. But before we jump into all that, I want to take a moment and say thank you to one of the sponsors of today's episode, and that is Directv. Today, I want to tell you about a simple way to get the entertainment that you love with the hassle, and a great way to finally get your TV together. It's called Directv Stream, and it brings your live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before. So you can watch your favorite sports, movies, and shows all in one place. That means no more juggling remotes and no need to buy another device ever again. And the best part, there's no annual contract. So get rid of the clutter and the confusion and get your TV together with Directv Stream. You can learn more at directv.com. That's directv.com. Compatible device required. Content varies by package. Jumping into the next segment of today's episode of Locked On Stars, your first listen of the day. Want to take a moment and just talk about some of the things, I guess you can call them negative points or bad things that happened on Saturday's game against the Philadelphia Flyers. Things that the Dallas Stars, can continue to improve on and fix before their next matchup on Tuesday against the Detroit Red Wings. And the first of those being penalties. Penalties continued to be an issue on Saturday. Dallas recorded 8 penalty minutes. Thankfully, they only surrendered 1 power play goal in the third period. With how many times they were on the penalty kill, it felt like only a matter of time before Dallas was going to give up a goal to Philadelphia's power play. Because like I said, in Friday's preview, Philadelphia has a lot of really talented players that can score the puck. And so it felt like only a matter of time. Philadelphia, despite only having 1 power play goal, had some really, really nice, 2-minute stretches on the power play. Dallas's penalty kill was definitely playing bend but don't break up until the last power play sequence, obviously, where Philadelphia finds the back of the net. But again, thankfully, it didn't cost Dallas the game, and it didn't really put them in a position to lose, but it very well could have if their offense wasn't clicking like it was, because we've seen Dallas commit too many penalties, put themselves in a hole that way, and we see the team suffer as a result. And so just something that Dallas needs to be more mindful of, as we've talked about several times on this show. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse at times, but this team is too old in terms of just the amount of guys that they have that have been in the league for a long time, veteran guys. These guys know better. One of the penalties was a delay of game penalty in the faceoff circle, just dumb things like that. You just can't have that. Again, thankfully, the offense was in rhythm tonight, and it didn't play too much of a factor. I feel like I would be harping on this more had the Dallas Stars lost, or maybe, had the game been a little closer by the end. So thankfully, not something that was detrimental to the Stars' success on Saturday, but something certainly that still needs to be worked on and addressed if Dallas wants to seriously be contending for a playoff spot come springtime. I think, I don't know if this is necessarily a complaint or something that can be worked on, just something that I think, Anton Khudobin played his best game of the season, probably the best performance we've seen from any goalie on this team, whether Khudobin or Holtby, in the crease on Saturday. I feel confident in saying that. I don't think anyone would dispute that if they watched the game and if they've watched the other games that the Stars have played so far this season. But I will say, it was his best performance in the power play goal that was scored. Credit to Philadelphia on that. But man, that first goal that went in, I can't remember now who was credited for the goal. It was unassisted. It was so unfortunate. It was such a fluke of a goal. So sad that Khudobin couldn't really only have allowed one goal. Luke Glendening accidentally kind of punched the puck in with his fist on the ground in a scramble for the puck. But a nice part of that, though, even though this is kind of a segment of things to work on, it was really, really nice and really encouraging to see the Dallas Stars respond to that, giving up that goal, kind of an unfortunate goal that Philadelphia, it seems that they were starting to maybe grab some momentum in the second period, to keep, pushing themselves forward to make the game a little more interesting. But less than a minute later, the Dallas Stars come down and Tyler Seguin puts the puck in the back of the net. And so huge moment for the Stars to respond the way that they did, something that they've kind of struggled to do this season whenever they've faced a little bit of adversity like that, or giving up a goal, or a goal that, could have been prevented, a goal that, could potentially give the opposing team momentum going into the rest of the game that can change the outcome of the game. But Dallas, took it in stride. They acknowledged that they made the mistake. They came out, they responded, and instantly gave themselves a 2-goal cushion once again. And the crowd absolutely loved it. The building in general was absolutely electric on Saturday. It was announced as a sellout crowd to us in the press box. Over 18,000 people in the arena. The crowd was absolutely buzzing, and I think that was a huge contributor to Dallas's success on Saturday. Another thing that I didn't necessarily like was kind of in the first period. Dallas was severely outshot. I don't remember how many shots they had. I want to say it was less than 10 or around 10, where Philadelphia had 19 shots on goal in the first period alone. Thankfully, Anton Khudobin, he was put in some tough spots, but thankfully he was playing similar to how he played back in the Edmonton bubble in fall 2020. And he was playing out of his mind. I think, I was on Twitter talking about how he was dialed in. Anton Khudobin had his cell phone out and was talking on the phone because that man was dialed in, and really kept the Stars in the game in the early stretches. Obviously, we had a goal in the first period from the Stars via a John Klingberg shot that bounced off Luke Glendening. But other than that, Philadelphia kind of outplayed the Stars in the first period. More shots on net. They seemed to be a little bit more of the aggressors in the first period. There were times where the period felt evenly matched, but for the most part, up until that Glendening goal and maybe even a little bit after, it felt like Philadelphia was just kind of doing whatever they wanted, and they were having their way against the Stars. Thankfully, though, Anton Khudobin was making a lot of huge plays in the net, and kind of kept the game from getting out of hand, because it very well could have, if he had not been as dialed in as he was. Riley Tufte also made his NHL debut, which is super exciting. Youngster from Minnesota gets the call up in the wake of guys like Como and Caro leaving the roster. And it was just kind of sad because he didn't get to play very much. I don't know if that's something that many fans were noticing or disappointed in, because obviously he is a rookie. He wasn't expected to come in and just put up monster numbers in his first game, but not a whole lot of time on ice. But it was kind of weird. And thankfully, Rick Bowness, in his post-game press conference, was able to clear up the air a little bit on why we didn't see a whole lot of Riley Tufte in Saturday's game. So here's Rick Bowness on that.
I just couldn't get him in the flow of the game because of the penalties, and every time he was up, and Faxi and Luke kill all the penalties, so you got to give them a breather. So Riley was fine. I had no issues with Riley whatsoever. It was just because of the penalties and the timing of the penalties. And again, Luke and Faxi out there, all the penalty kills. So I just couldn't get that line into a regular rotation of the flow of the game.
So yeah, like Rick Bowness said, and I guess this kind of loops back around to the first point of this segment, is just penalties. Penalties kind of prevented Riley Tufte from seeing substantial minutes on the ice because, like Rick Bowness said, guys like Luke Glendening, Radek Faksa are going to be your guys out there on the penalty kill. So just due to the timing of the penalties and the amount of penalties that Dallas was committing, it was hard to get Tufte out on the ice, in the right time with the guys that he needed to be playing with for his first game. So it was exciting to see him, take his rookie lap around the ice in front of the hometown fans. Kind of sad that he didn't get to play too many minutes. Hopefully we'll see a little bit more of him on Tuesday night if Dallas can stay out of the penalty box a little more effectively. Because I think he has a lot of potential, and even Jacob Peterson, I'm excited to see him back on the NHL team. Two young guys that, if anything, this is going to be great experience for them. Even if they're not going to put up, these crazy numbers like Jason Robertson rookie year numbers, it's going to be good experience for them going forward. Kind of like Jake Ottinger last year, getting to play on the NHL roster just because of shorthandedness on the team. I think that was huge for Jake Ottinger's development. And maybe, we'll see Peterson and Tufte continue to develop and they'll put up some big numbers, maybe come springtime or maybe a little bit after the Olympic break, because I think these guys both have a lot of potential. And so excited to see how these guys play going forward, but kind of sad that Tufte didn't get very many minutes in his first appearance on the NHL stage. Coming up next, we will talk about a little bit more about this win and talking about how great it actually is for Dallas to have this first regulation win under their belt. But before we do all that, I want to take a moment and say thank you to another sponsor of today's episode, and that is Built Bar. I absolutely love Thanksgiving and Christmas time, the two of my favorite holidays, just because of the time of year. You get to see family, you get to see friends, but also you get to eat some delicious food. But unfortunately, some of our favorite desserts are filled with tons of sugar and calories. That's just not good for us at the end of the day, folks. But it's a perfect time for Built Bars. Built Bars are the new holiday dessert. You can feast on something delicious and feel good about it. One slice of pie is upwards of 300 calories, and that's on the low end more often than not. Most Built Bars are only 130 calories with only 4 grams of sugar with plenty of protein. So replace that coconut cream pie with a coconut Built Bar, or go for a raspberry Built Bar instead of that raspberry pie. Lots of great flavors to replace any pie. And there's nothing quite like Built Bar Black Friday. So mark your calendar because Black Friday will be huge on Built.com. You can go to Built.com right now and use promo code LOCKED15 and you'll get 15% off your order. Again, use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. To close out today's episode of Locked On Stars, I want to take a moment and just kind of walk through some of what Joe Pavelski and Anton Khudobin had to say about the team getting their first regulation win of the season. So let's go ahead and tune into that audio right now.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while since we've played with a lead in the end and wanting to keep pushing, wanting to build on it. Great shift by the guys after we get scored on to come right back and answer. That was just, there was a little bit different mindset, a little bit more urgency to go at these guys tonight. Don't get ahead of ourselves. Understand what wins in this league, and wanting to go forecheck, wanting to go into some hard areas, wanting to sacrifice a little bit more, and certain parts of the game to set us up in other areas. So, it's one. We understand we can't get it all back in a week. We just got to keep going out there and focusing on what we're doing day by day.
It's always great to get the win. Everybody gonna talk that it's first regulation win and stuff like that. Yes, it is. It's always important, but we can enjoy today. We'll have a day of tomorrow and come back and work again. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be pretty for us.
And there you have it from two of the veteran guys on this roster, guys that, were in the Stanley Cup this time last year, on how it feels to finally get this regulation win under their belt. And they seem happy with the win. They seem, like it's satisfied. I don't know. No, I won't say satisfied, but they seem, let's just say happy with the win. I think that they're glad that they finally have that out of their way. So that way there's not that narrative around the team anymore. But there's still, a lot to do, but there's a lot of good to build on from this regulation win, from this huge blowout win over the Philadelphia Flyers. But I think it was interesting that no one at the podium and Roope and Coach Bowness were also asked about this as well. And there didn't seem, really no one was too overjoyed about the win. I think everyone was happy with it. I think everyone was happy and satisfied with how the team performed in that game as a whole. But I think it's a good thing to see, that these guys, obviously, you play the game to win, but getting one regulation win in November isn't quite the reason why these guys are playing. These guys are playing to get to the Stanley Cup playoffs and to, in all reality, get to the Stanley Cup finals and win the Stanley Cup finals. And so this, is a small step in that direction. And I think it says a lot about these guys that, they're glad that this win happened, that they're glad that, they snagged 2 crucial points that's going to help them stay in the fight in the Central Division for a little bit. But, I think they all recognize that there's still work to be done, both in improving the team, but also just in winning more games. These guys talked about getting back to work and staying consistent and not taking steps backwards. And so I think that's going to be huge for this team going forward. Just knowing that this season is a grind and they gotta buckle in and Dobby said it, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard. It's a challenge. And so I'm excited to see how the Dallas Stars, take this challenge head on, because they need to string together several more wins like this, especially over these next few games against Detroit. And then they'll travel to play Minnesota. They'll play teams like Edmonton, Colorado, teams like that. St. Louis coming up very, very soon. Teams that are very, very good. And if you don't bring your A game, you could lose and potentially even get blown out. And a lot of these games will be coming at home in the American Airlines Center. And I know that's the last thing the Dallas Stars want to do is lose at home, because that's the place where they need to really grab some of these big wins and get 2 points from some of these really, really good teams in the National Hockey League. But that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Stars. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for a full preview of Dallas's next game against the Detroit Red Wings. That's always so hard for me to say, and I have no idea why, but be sure to tune in for a preview of that game. Lots to talk about there. Should be a very, very exciting matchup against a team that we saw a ton of last season because of the division realignments. But thank you again for making Locked On Stars your first listen of the day. Now go make your second listen of the day the Locked On Bets podcast, your daily one-stop shop for all your sports gambling needs. Locked On Bets, hosted by your boy Q, with expert analysis and insight from Lee Sterling. Be sure to subscribe and follow the show. Tell your friends about the show. Leave a review if you like what you hear. Also, be sure to go subscribe on YouTube as well. The channel is continuing to grow, and it's very, very exciting stuff. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at Dane_Lewis. That's at DANE 2_ LEWIS. You can also follow the show on Twitter at Locked On Stars. But that's going to do it for today's episode, and we will see you back here tomorrow. Have a wonderful day, Stars fans.